Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, everyone. We are doing new video series introducing you to Scott County Public Library's staff. And first up is Julia Taylor. Hi, Julia.
Everybody. Hi.
So I am going to ask Julia a series of questions, and we're going to find out a little bit more about what Julia does. So, Julia, tell our community who you are and what you do at the library.
So I'm Julia Taylor. I'm a librarian assistant here at the Scott County Public Library. I work in adult services, which means that most of the time you all can find me at the reference desk. That being said, I do work at the other service desks, so I'm at checkout, I'm working in the tech hub, working in the children's department sometimes, even in the gallery. When I am off the desk, I wear many hats, as we like to say. So I work with interlibrary loan. So if you're ever interested in borrowing a book that maybe a university library has, for example, that would be when you'd come up to anybody at the reference desk and process a request like that. But then I'm actually the person that collects all the books for other libraries to borrow. Let's see, I might be your proctor at some point if you actually sign up to take a test. And then I also run several adult programs, many of which I do in conjunction with Yolanda Poston. We've developed Discover programs. And these programs are designed with adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities in mind. We do those about once a month, so keep an eye out. Our next one's going to be on May 20th. And most of these are craft programs, but sometimes we do music programs, and we're always interested in different ideas and things like that. I forgot to mention, I also work in the Kentucky Room quite a bit. Right now I am scanning all of our family files. For those of you that aren't familiar with our Kentucky Room, the family files are basically genealogical information that's been donated to us. We are scanning them just for preservation purposes, but you're welcome to come into the library. You search by surname, so it's kind of interesting to see what your family history might be in the area.
You wear many hats, Julia.
I'm not wearing any today. I did actually co-host the Derby party. There are pictures of me in a glorious self-designed hat. Obviously self-designed hat, as well as some of our other contestants who did a much better job than me.
So here's your second question.
Oh, my second question. Okay.
Okay. What led you to be interested in the library and ultimately working here at Scott County Public Library?
Well, it's interesting. You know, I had kind of a roundabout route, and yet at the same time I sometimes feel like this was always where I was supposed to be. Growing up, I actually did a lot of theater classes, so I'm comfortable doing presentations like this, and also doing behind the scenes work for whenever there's a performance. At the same time, I've also had a really academic bent, so I studied cultural anthropology in college. And then there was a point when I didn't know what I wanted to do, you know, and so I spent a lot of time waiting tables. Now, you all might not realize this, but in order to do well in libraries, you really need to have a customer service background or an understanding of customer service. So when I had a friend that was working as a waiter, also working at another library, suggests that I maybe should try it out. I went for it. I went for the interview. And it really wasn't until I got in the interview and they started asking me about how I interact with people and what do I think about information that I realized I was in the right place. So it really wasn't even until the interview that I understood that libraries were where I really needed to be.
Interesting. All right. So here's your third question.
My third question.
What are you most passionate about? What are some of your interests?
Okay, so anybody who works in libraries actually has quite a few interests. In fact, that's sometimes the problem. It's like, oh, sparkles and wonderful, I want to learn all the things. As I said, I do really enjoy academic studies. So for me, going back to school and learning about library science was fascinating. I really enjoyed learning about how people learn and how they conduct research. So one thing I'm actually passionate about is meeting information needs, and that sounds really dry and boring, but what happens for me when I'm at the information desk is people come up and they're asking questions about serious life-changing events. You know, they need help finding information and if they're going through a divorce or if there's been a fire in their house. And while I think that they maybe could find some of that information on their own, what I get to do is actually help relieve some of the burden and some of the stress. And so it's really important to me to be compassionate when I get those kinds of questions. And I love the intellectual curiosity questions. Those are great too. You know, that's what I get to explore the Kentucky Room sometimes. But it's really when people are dealing with serious life-changing events that's the most important kind of question for me to answer. So I'm very passionate about meeting information needs. I'm very passionate about reaching out to community members who maybe aren't able to come into the library or maybe don't realize everything that we can do for them. So that's really identifying groups of people that may need to be contacted a little bit more by the library. So that's also really important to me.
And we have many of those that comes in every day, don't we?
Oh yeah. We have a lot of different folks that come on in.
Right. All right. So this next question is going to dive a little bit deeper.
Oh no.
You're going to have to share.
But I've already bared my soul,
Okay.
really.
So here we go.
Okay.
What are some things that no one would know about you?
Well, I'm actually 20 feet tall. I'm not. I'm actually very short. You know, one thing that people might not realize about me, I talked about how I had a theater background, but I also like to write music. The people who hear that are generally just my friends and family. I play the classical guitar poorly, but I try very hard. I'm trying to think of other interesting things about me. You know, my dad used to live in D.C., so I'm actually pretty familiar with that area, too. I think I'm kind of boring, to be completely honest. I'm really quite superficial in some ways. So what you see is what you get.
Playing classical guitar is not boring.
Well, I learned quite a lot about that. I really thought that there are techniques and important things to keep in mind, but I never could get my tone right. And it really came down to keeping my nails well groomed. You don't realize this, but you have to have a specific shape. And a lot of the conversations I had with my teacher were about how to file my nails, which is very interesting because he's a man with a pompadour and he had much better nails than I'll ever have. But I learned a lot.
Okay. All right. Now, this next set of questions is kind of a fast-paced. All right. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to name series of one-word answers.
This
okay?
is a psychology test. He
Okay.
did not tell me this was what was going
So-
on.
I'm going to ask you favorite something.
Oh no.
All right. So you're going to answer quickly as possible. And we're going to see if you can do, 6 of these
Okay.
in 10 seconds. Let's see if we can do it, okay? Here we go. Your favorite color,
Green.
number,
7.
food,
Corn pudding.
artists,
Artists. I want to say Klimt. That's weird, but I love it.
book,
Right now, I'm reading The Priority of the Orange Tree, and I'm going to say it's my favorite because I love it.
author.
Author, J.K. Rowling.
Wow.
Oh, I got through
You
it.
got through it. Julia, thank you for your time this afternoon.
Okay.
And I hope, before I do that, there was one more question.
Oh.
There wasn't one more question.
Mhm.
I almost forgot. What would you like to say to the community that are and will be watching this interview?
Oh, well, hello and thank you for watching. I kind of already said what I would like to say, which is definitely come on in anytime. Please feel free to ask us your questions and to help you with any of your information needs. That's really why we're here and we're over here and why we enjoy doing our job. So come on in.
Awesome. Julia, thank you for your time this afternoon.
Thank you.